My name is Michael. I've been a truck driver for over 15 years, and in all those years, I thought I'd witnessed everything. From storms that seemed to rip the sky apart, to roads so deserted they made you question if you were still in this world. But that night, that particular night, altered everything. I was hauling a heavy load down a remote stretch of road in the middle of nowhere. The fog was so dense I could barely see a few feet ahead of me. Only the squeak of the windshield wipers and the rumble of the engine broke the silence. The sense of isolation was suffocating, like the fog itself was trying to consume me. There were no lights, no houses, no other vehicles, just the endless road and the cold darkness. That's when I spotted her. At the edge of the road, through the mist, a small figure appeared, barely distinguishable. I slammed on the brakes, the screech echoing in the stillness, and the headlights illuminated the figure of a girl. She wore a white dress, dirty and torn, fluttering weakly in the breeze. Her dark hair fell over her face, and her small bare feet shivered on the asphalt. I was taken aback by the sight of her blue lips and her body shaking like a leaf in the wind. I rolled down the window and asked what was wrong. "I'm so cold, and I'm lost," she said in a voice that was barely a whisper, almost inaudible. There was something in that voice, something broken, as if she had been screaming for centuries, but no one had listened. I thought about what any decent man would do. "Get in. I'll take you to the next gas station. It's not far," I said, trying to sound calm. The girl slowly climbed into the truck, but she never lifted her head. She kept her face hidden beneath her hair, as if she was concealing something, as if she was frightened. "Where are you from?" I asked as I resumed driving. Her response sent a chill through me. "I'm not from here. I don't belong to this place." A shiver ran down my spine. Something about her tone unsettled me, but I said nothing. I just wanted to reach the gas station as quickly as possible. The road wound between hills and ghostly trees that loomed like shadows in the fog. And just as I took a sharp curve, the truck jolted a bit and I lost sight of her for a moment. I turned my head toward the passenger seat and she was gone. Panic surged through me like lightning. I sped up, cold sweat soaking my shirt. "This can't be! This can't be!" I muttered under my breath, trying to convince myself I had imagined it all. But the feeling of an icy presence still lingered in the truck. Suddenly I saw her again, in front of me, in the middle of the road. My hands tightened on the wheel, and I slammed the brakes as hard as I could. The truck screeched violently and nearly tipped over. There she was, staring at me, motionless. Her white dress fluttered faintly under the thick mist. "Go away! Get away from me!" I yelled from inside the truck, feeling a rising sense of dread. I knew what she was. It couldn't be anything else. A spirit, a demon, something from the depths of hell. I tried to move forward, but she shifted every time I attempted to pass her. It was as if she knew my every move, as if she was playing with me. My heart pounded in my chest so hard I thought it would burst. Then suddenly the girl darted toward me so fast I barely had time to react. She slammed into the passenger door with an unnatural force and climbed into the truck in one swift motion. Her face. When I saw her up close, I almost fainted from terror. Her hands, small and thin, were smeared in blood, and her face was not a human face. Her eyes, red like burning embers, stared straight into mine. Her mouth slowly opened, revealing sharp, grotesque teeth, longer and more twisted than any human could have. It was as if her jaw had no end, as if she could swallow me whole. Her pale, decaying skin seemed stretched in an unnatural way, as if it was about to tear apart. The stench of blood and rot filled the cab, making me feel dizzy, almost on the verge of blacking out. With a scream of pure terror, I jumped out of the truck, leaving the driver's door wide open. My heart pounded so fast I thought I would collapse right there in the darkness of that cursed road. I fell to the ground, gasping, waiting for her to follow. But when I looked back, there was no one. The girl, or whatever it was, had vanished. Shaking like never before in my life, I managed to stand up and get back into the truck. The passenger seat was covered in bloody handprints. The thought of touching that steering wheel again almost paralyzed me. But I had to go. I had to escape from there. When I finally reached the gas station, my hands were still trembling, and I could barely breathe. The employees stared at me, pale, as I recounted what had happened. One of them approached me with a somber look. "You're not the first," he said. A few months ago, a couple with their daughter had an accident on that very curve. The car went off the road, and the girl didn't survive. His voice cracked. Since then, everyone who passes through there sees her. Silence hung heavy in the air. Only the hum of the gas station's fluorescent lights filled the space. I knew I would never forget that face, that creature with a mouth that seemed to open into the abyss and eyes that glowed with a hatred that felt endless. That girl didn't belong to this world, and every time I close my eyes, I can still feel her gaze locked onto me.